get your reaction and analysis on this. We're joined by ANC Stalwart, Mavuso Msimang, who is part of the show this morning via our video link. Mr. Msimang, thanks very much for your time and welcome to the AM Report. I remember you're one of the ANC members who've agitated for change for a long time within the organization. Let me begin by getting your reflections on the important moments leading up to the NEC meeting. President Cyril Ramaphosa being accused of bringing the organization into disrepute. To what extent, if any, do you agree with that sentiment?
Well, I don't think that. Thank you very much for inviting me. The first important thing about yesterday's media briefing was that the president himself and his top officials came to talk to the nation about an assignment they had been given by the previous NEC. That NEC of end July, beginning of August, had said that the top 6 must draw up a list of people implicated in corruption, putting it very roughly, and report back to them. Well, then they did that yesterday. I do not believe that Ramaphosa, the president, is implicated as defined. I mean, I don't know if they're talking about Zuma or those people. Those are red herrings being drawn across the real problem we have, which is the loss of credibility by the ANC as a result of the corruption that's been ongoing for many years now.
It's interesting you say drawn up by Zuma and those people. I understand it was a throwaway statement, but it does also touch on reflections after that letter was released from some people suggesting it wasn't even penned by the former president to begin with. Do we have any reason to believe that the sentiments in those letters were not of the former president?
Well, I believe they were of his own. A lot of people don't use others to write things. I think he is associated very directly with that letter. And when Gwede Mantashe talked about what's this thing? Orchestrated.
Right.
Used a different word. Yes. Well, and it's true also. I mean, you suddenly see Tony Yengeni asking the president to step down. You have Andisa Mazai. I'm sorry, Andisa in the Eastern Cape also making a statement. Yeah. Yes, it was choreographed. That's the word I was looking for.
We've also
and Zuma was part of this.
Right. We've also been here in some respects or the other, haven't we? This idea of drawing a line in the sand, being at a turning point once again. At the start of your remarks, you mentioned that this is a directive from the previous NEC. I mean, previous directive within the organization appeared to be ignored in the past. Is there any particular reason that we should believe that this really is a watershed moment for the ANC's ability to deal with some within its own ranks?
Yes, I think the watershed moment, if it's sustained, happened in the last meeting when a majority of NEC members said we are going to take we want very specific actions taken to deal with corruption. That was the watershed moment. An instruction is then given to the national leaders of the ANC to carry out a certain task. I think to my expectation was a little, I wasn't very happy with the report back. Yes, it's good, people must do this, that and the other. What I really expected is that the ANC must seek to resonate with the sentiment of the nation. What people have said is that all this time that we've been 4 years since Nasrec, no senior person in the ANC has either gone to court or, which is within the ambit of the ANC, been told to step down, and if they didn't, action taken pursuant thereof. When I say senior people, I'm talking about members of the NEC, members of cabinet or former, and in the top 6 itself, provincial leaders. Some work has been done, very good work has been done on COVID thefts, thanks to a large extent to the Gauteng province. Good actions have been taken by KZN, but the expectation of many people, we stuck our necks out and said, here is a turning point. We being the veterans, and I'm speaking for myself right now, and said there is a turning point. Give our organization a chance. For the first time, they are very specific about what they are going to do. Well, so far, the specific thing that must be done was only announced yesterday by the president. I expected that there would have been an indication already of what was done to deal with this problem.
Mr. Msimang, I'm being told I'm out of time, but I just want to pose this last question to you. Part of the reflections that have been shared is that if the president were to go ahead, specifically with the resolution you've just alluded to, which is to see senior party members finally being charged and possibly being prosecuted, that type of move comes at the risk of compromising the ANC itself and dividing it into the type of factionalism that might essentially sacrifice the party. Do you believe that President Cyril Ramaphosa is in that awkward position where he needs to either negotiate the survival of the country or the survival of the ANC?
No, President Ramaphosa is facing a difficult position. I think the extent of the rot is such that any action that's taken, and it must be taken, will cause some modern ripples. But it is the task of the leadership to do just that. You're not going to compromise with people who are more than just tainted in order to preserve the unity of the ANC. No, the nation is the more important thing. The nation will respect an ANC that purges itself of corrupt people. Find a way of doing that in a structured way, but certainly it must be clear that they are being purged. Let's see people get out of these positions of leading portfolio committees in Parliament when they are so tainted, and it should not be. Would like to hear that that is going to happen.
All right, Mr. Mavuso Msimang, thanks very much for your time. Certainly appreciate your reflections. Mavuso Msimang, of course, is an ANC stalwart.